Welcome to the Pod in Your Basement podcast, featuring Ben DeLessio and Joe Garza. They're alive, they're hungry, and they're opinionated.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Pod in Your Basement. Was that spooky? Did I scare you at all, Ben?
No. Did they catch that first part? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope there's not a delay here. Okay. Good start.
Yeah.
All right. We're good.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
So, for this episode, we are talking about some of the best and the coolest marketing campaigns for horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like horror is kind of unique in that genre. Like I can't think of too many movie genres that have utilized creative marketing campaigns. The only one that I can kind of think of would be like, for the first Deadpool movie, Ryan Reynolds took over Fandango's social media. So he was kind of just riffing on that for a bit. But like
Fandango.
I can't think of, I think it's Fandango or some movie website. Maybe it was Rotten Tomatoes. He took over some social media account for some movie website.
Okay.
But it seems like horror is one of the only ones that like, it lends itself particularly well for like creative marketing campaigns.
Sure.
So I thought it'd be fun to kind of dip into the marketing of some of these films. So before we get into some like more recent examples of this, I want to talk a little bit. I know I've talked a bit about William Castle. I think on here, definitely before on the other podcast. But William Castle was a movie producer in the 50s and 60s, and he specialized mostly in horror films. And these were low budget B movie fright flicks, right? So he would rely on like the stupidest gimmicks, but they always worked. Like his movies were always very profitable. So I thought I'd open it a little bit, talking a bit about that guy, because he's sort of like the OG when it comes to creative marketing campaigns for horror movies. So let's see, for one of them, his first film, I believe, was a film came out in 1958 called Macabre. It was his first promotional gimmick. Ads claimed that the film was so terrifying, the producers promised insurance for $1,000 in the case of death by fright. It's funny that $1,000 is considered like a really big life insurance payout.
Yeah,
right. When audiences arrived at the theater, they did indeed receive the promised beneficiary agreement that would pay out to whoever the deceased named. Unsurprisingly, none of these ended up getting paid out, but the film was a hit regardless. And by the way, I'm reading this from an article called William Castle, The Great Gimmicks and Greater Horror Movies. This is on MovieWeb. There were some other ones. So next, Castle directed the B-movie classic House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. The film used what Castle named Emergo, or maybe it's Emergo. I think it's Emergo, to immerse viewers. During a late scene, a plastic skeleton would fly over the audience, provoking shock and laughter. While we no longer get the joy of experiencing Emergo at its finest, the film does more than enough to stand on its own between its campy acting and eerie imagery. So he did all these things where it's like, when you were going to one of his movies, it would be built up with word of mouth. Like it was just like, you're not just going to watch a horror movie. You're going to like something crazy is going to happen. So that was always exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And then let's see. And then he did a movie called The Tingler, and this had a gimmick to outdo the last, Percepto. And it's funny because this is in the 1950s, because this is when you had like the dawn of television, and that was really biting into movie ticket sales. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So movies. That's why you saw like the rise of 3D. That's why you saw like the rise of like Panavision, and so that started kind of trickling down into B horror movies where it's like, oh, filmed in Perceptovisions.
I feel like that was such a thing of like the 50s and early 60s. They just kind of add like a O at the end of something.
Yeah.
To make it like the extremo, like
Bloodovision, and
yeah.
So this is called Percepto. As audiences arrived in the theater, they would find nurses stationed around the lobby and an empty ambulance outside. Some of the theater seats were rigged with vibrating motors that would activate towards the end of the film when Price, as protagonist Dr. Warren Chapin, frantically warned the audience that the titular monster had escaped into the movie theater itself. At the same time, audiences were seated with actors to make a spectacle of their fear. These actors would dramatically scream and even pretend to faint before being brought out to the waiting ambulance on a gurney. What makes Percepto so incredibly fun, though, is the way in which it ties into the movie itself. In the movie, fear is the thing that the tingler feeds on, and the only way to fight it off is to scream. Between the vibrating seats, Price's narration, and the underlying understanding that screaming was essential to the experience, audiences were invited for a brief moment to imagine that the world of the film and their own were one and the same. And then here's
fun.
Yeah, I would love to see more of this going on now.
Yeah.
And then 13 Ghosts came out the next year, featured a scaled down gimmick castle called Illusion O. Audience members were given a viewing experience through which they were ostensibly able to choose whether they would see the film's promised ghosts or not. The device worked similar to the classic red and blue 3D glasses we're used to, featuring red and blue cellophane to enhance or erase images in the film. To achieve the effect, the black and white footage in 13 Ghosts had a blue filter applied to it, while the film's ghosts were run through a red filter and superimposed over the original footage.
Wait, so they were doing that back in the 50s?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought 3D. Like, wait, so that was like 3D?
Yeah, basically 3D.
Wow, I thought that was like an invention of the 80s or something.
No. 3D was one of the gimmicks of the 50s to try to claw back audiences from television.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just did so much of this shit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But anyway, Ben, did you want to start off with a movie that you thought had a pretty cool marketing campaign?
Yeah, so we're probably going to have a bunch of the same ones, so we just kind of go back and forth because there have just been a handful that are iconic. And to start, the original topic for this episode was supposed to be movies that have been marketed as quote unquote the scariest movie ever made. And I really wanted it to be that tailored because in my opinion there have been lots of movies that have been marketed that way, but then doing research, like I couldn't find all that much on it. There were different categories. There was like, well, this movie is this considered the scariest? I'm like, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking movies that were specifically marketed as the scariest movie ever made. And I remember Evil Dead, the remake from like 2016 being marketed like that. And maybe a few others, maybe Skinamarink, which I found on a list and feels like that movie makes an appearance once an episode with our podcast. And by the way, it's not even close to the scariest movie ever made.
Right.
But so we changed it kind of at the last minute to be the best horror marketing campaigns. Yeah. So to go first, I will go with, so this movie definitely had a big part on my childhood in terms of scares. I was right at that age when I'm old enough to watch horror, but still very young, where it like really, I mean, there'll be horror that'll scare me now when I'm 35. Right. So, but that really, really freaked me out. And that was The Ring. And this was, so that came out in 2002, the American version. I did see the Japanese version in Japanese film class in college, but no, we're talking about the American version, which actually I think is way scarier. I think we have this idea that Japanese movies are always scarier and just kind of more freaky or violent or whatever, and that's like not really the case. The Japanese Ring, the original Ring, I think might be a better movie. I'm not sure, but I definitely think that they dial it up in the American version.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Have you seen both?
Yeah, I've seen both. Yeah. I think the original Japanese one, I thought it had a better ending. It's been forever since I've seen both of them, but I thought the ending was a little better in the original one, whereas I thought the American ending was a little abrupt. It just kind of it stopped a little short for me.
Yeah.
But the American was definitely scarier for sure, though.
Yeah, right. Like just the faces and that first scene, like the kind of mini story within the story, whatever you want to call it.
No, it's terrific. And a friend of mine even told me, goes, that feels like a perfect short horror film in and of itself, that opening scene.
Like that and Scream are probably my two favorites. When you say Scream is similar in terms of it kind of being a standalone. Yeah,
absolutely.
And actually Scream's going to come up later too, not in terms of marketing, but it's compared to something else. But anyway, so I say all that to say that The Ring, if you don't know what that's about, it's kind of fun. It's funny because a lot of times when like technology is involved in stuff, it can sometimes, I don't know the exact word for it, but it's like that argument I made about that movie Night Swim that came out last year, where it's like about a pool, like a haunted pool, and I'm like, just don't go in the pool. I'm like, it's more complicated than that, I know, but it's still about a haunted pool. So once technology is like, just don't turn on the TV. Turn on, like there's another one that I think is a cell phone one, if I'm remembering. I forget the details, but it's like, I don't know, get rid of the phone. It's never that simple. I understand.
Right. Sure.
But The Ring, so it's hilarious because it's VHS, which now is like analog, and kind of it's coming back in some ways for collectors. And I know Jim is into DVDs, but VHS kind of has its own niche market now. But it's about a tape that if you watch it, you're gonna die in 7 days. You get a call. I always wonder, it's like, what if you don't have a phone? Like, what if your phone's not connected? You get like there's a guy now with like a telegram. It's like 7 days, or like it's that kind of stuff. But anyway, that aside, the movie's very scary, really like iconically scary. And the marketing for it was people. And I just looked it up on Reddit. There was this guy, and I might have been the horror movie Reddit or whatever it is, who during when the movie came out, like early 2000s, 2002, he was working at some sort of like a store or some service that would do these marketing things, guerrilla marketing campaigns. And this was one of them, was just kind of put these tapes, coincidentally, because I don't live far from Philly, around Philadelphia, and just like kind of put them in places, like phone booths. Again, it's another antiquated term, on people's cars, like just all over the place. And it was just what was on the tape was just the movie within the movie, the short few minutes, not even a couple minutes video or movie that then you were cursed after you watched it. And to be like, I imagine, what if you're like a 75-year-old lady who has no clue, and you get this thing, and on it doesn't say like marketing for The Ring, movie. It says, I think it says this will explain everything on it. Like that's what it says. This will explain everything. And you put that in, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, and I just think that's really cool and fun. Not something. I guess the modern version of that would be like what's it called when people do this, you're like on a subway, and you kind of, if you're I can't think of the terms right now, but you can like basically get something sent to your phone for people just in the area. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's not pin drop, obviously, and I'm not feeling great, so I'm kind of blanking on the term,
right?
But it's that.
Well,
and I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
And that's a tricky thing to balance too, where it's frightening enough to pique your interest, but it's also not threatening enough where you'd be like, oh my god, I got to call the police, I gotta call the government, or something,
like if you see this, because the movie within the movie itself isn't like scary, it's weird, it's freaky, but it's not like violent monsters, or I guess there is maybe a little violence when she kind of pushes the girl down the well, right? Isn't that in it? But
there's a close-up of like a thumb like going through a nail or something, or a nail.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess there's some violent stuff on there. It's more, but it's also like, isn't it like a woman brushing her hair in a mirror?
Yeah,
right.
It's more like abstract, kind of David Lynchian, kind of just like bizarre, unsettling imagery.
Unsettling, yes, it's definitely unsettling, and I just think that's a really fun. Like, I don't know how effective it was, because at the end of it, the guy said it wasn't like The Ring in theaters now. Like, it wasn't that. So people might see and be like, what is this? Yeah. And the internet back then wasn't something where like you could then go figure it out real quickly. Yeah. Right. 2002, it was pretty, dial-up era still. Like, it wasn't like now you can just go on social media. Hey, post on your Instagram story. Hey, what is this? And someone at 5 minutes will be like, oh, that's this movie. Yeah. Like back then, it's probably a lot of head scratching. So I think that's a really fun one. Yeah.
And just to kind of elaborate on that a bit more. So this is from Screen Rant. It did utilize the internet at the time, which is like you said, still kind of it was still kind of like penetrating the mainstream a bit. Mm-hmm. So late at night, television commercials would be interrupted by the cursed taped with no context, passing the jinx on to unsuspecting viewers. They also had a website where visitors could enter their friends' contact information, and the team would send them a message about the curse. The emails contained the cursed video, and once opened, the viewer would receive a voice call saying 7 days. This made the movie feel much more realistic since the marketing was able to immerse the audience in the film's universe.
So my question with that is, wait, so you could I could mess with you and give this company your phone number.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you get a call and there's just someone on the other side. Imagine if some guy was like, he messes up. He's like, 7 days. Some hungover college kid who's trying to make a few extra bucks. Hey, 7 days.
7 weeks. I mean, days.
Yeah.
For my next one, I want to go old school again to one of my favorite filmmakers, Alfred Hitchcock, with Psycho. Mm-hmm. So this film came out in 1960, and it was based on a novel by Robert Bloch. Now, one of the things that he did, because he wanted to keep the surprise ending a surprise. He didn't want it to reveal that it was Norman Bates the entire time. So what he did was he had his team go around the U.S. and buy as many copies of Robert Bloch's Psycho as possible to prevent people from reading it and sharing, what the big ending was. And he had this policy that he had all the theaters enforce, which is once the movie starts, no one will be let into the theater. Like, you cannot watch the movie, halfway through. It's like, no, you have to, once you're in, we're not letting anybody else in. You have to watch from beginning to end. And he also, movie trailers were pretty cool when Hitchcock was doing them, because have you ever seen the trailer for the original Psycho?
I don't think so, no.
So it's pretty long. It's several minutes long. And it's Alfred Hitchcock himself, and he shows you around Norman Bates's house. And it's funny because they're playing sort of cheesy, Leave It to Beaver, happy, late 50s, early 1960s music. And then he's like, oh, so it's an old house on a hill, and it doesn't look like much now, but at night it's quite creepy. Maybe we should go inside and see if anybody's there. And then play happy-go-lucky music, but then he points to the staircase and goes, "Oh, but then there was a terrible murder here, and then somebody tumbled down, and you're gonna have to watch the film to find out." And then there's the cellar, but I'm not gonna take you down there yet. And then let's go into the motel. So he's giving the audience a tour, and this is the trailer for the movie. No scenes from the movie. It's just him. They're kind of interspersing back and forth between happy-go-lucky music and him with his ominous narration. And then he goes, "Oh, I think someone's in the shower, and let's see who that is." And then he opens the shower curtain, and then a woman screams, and then it just cuts Psycho, in theaters, August or whatever. And it's such a cool, I want to see more movie trailers like that. Not a single frame from the movie, just the director showing you around the set of the movie.
Yeah, that's really fun.
But he had a morbid sense of humor. So he knew it. He knew that the audience. I mean, he knew his reputation as. What was it? The king of suspense or something, the master of suspense, and he knew that. So he's like, "All right, cool. I'm going to play it up. I'm going to lean into it even more. So I'm going to give the audience. I'm just going to tease them even more with this one."
I don't really get how they did the buying up all the books? Like, how is that possible?
I don't know. Especially back then, it's like, there was Universal Studios here, and then maybe they had an office in New York. I don't know if they just like paid a bunch of interns or something to just go across the U.S. and to every bookstore they could, or what. But yeah, that's
There's so many bookstores.
Unless like maybe they just did it in like major metropolitan areas. Like, hey, like the 10 biggest cities in the U.S. buy up, which is still insane. That's still like And people read more books. More people read books back then. So I assume that there are probably more bookstores back then than there are now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he went to great lengths to make sure that nobody, like as few people knew about, the ending as possible. Also, there was no social media. It wasn't just like, because nowadays, like whenever they have like a big surprise cameo in a Marvel movie, it's like, about it 4 days before the movie even opens in the US.
Sure.
So maybe it was easier back then to kind of keep some of the stuff under wraps. But
I guess so. I also think it's just kind of shitty to like take away that experience from people who are, like, why would you leave a theater and then go like ruin a movie for someone?
Right. No, for sure. I wonder what they did with those books afterwards.
Yeah, really. Because I read that too, and I was like, what? Like buying all the books? Like, how's that even? That reminds me of like during the obscenity trials and kind of when we were working all of that stuff out in this country in terms of censorship, and it would be like they would destroy all the films of a certain movie. It's like, how is that even possible? Like, isn't it always going to get out? Like, aren't there? But maybe film is not as easy to replicate, so maybe there are. But I mean, like, think about it. When a movie gets made, let's say it's 1965, like they're sending a film, right, to every single movie theater.
Right.
At least one.
Yeah. Yeah.
In case something happens. Some really popular movies are played in multiple screens in one theater, especially back then. I feel like there were even more screens and more movie theaters. Like every town had a movie theater.
For sure. I also wonder though if I think the way that they distributed movies back then, and I don't know even if they did this for Psycho, but I think oftentimes it would be kind of like a rolling release. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to open on the West Coast this week. Next week, we're going to open in the South and the Midwest. And then the week after that, we're opening on the East Coast, where it's just sort of like, it'd be like a gradual nationwide release. So maybe that gave them, again, I don't even know if they did that with Psycho specifically. I know that they did that with many movies at the time, but maybe that was what allowed them to kind of buy some more time to buy up all those books. To be like, okay, buy as many books as you can on the West Coast. And then we'll just kind of move our way across the coast.
Yeah, it just seems kind of unnecessary, but
I do want to read
the cost to just buy all the books. Like
I didn't say. I do want to read the poster that was posted at movie theaters, and so it has a picture of Alfred Hitchcock, and he's pointing at his watch, and this is a direct message from him. It is required that you see Psycho from the very beginning. Surely you do not have your meat course after your dessert at dinner. You will therefore understand why we are so insistent that you enjoy Psycho from start to finish, exactly as we intended that it is to be served. We won't allow you to cheat yourself. Every theater manager everywhere has been instructed to admit no one after the start of each performance of Psycho. We said no one, not even the manager's brother, the president of the United States, or the Queen of England. God bless her. To help you cooperate with this extraordinary policy, we are listing the starting times below. Treasure them with your life, or better yet, read them and act accordingly. Alfred Hitchcock. It's both like incredibly formal and incredibly informal at the same time.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, what a cool little gimmick though.
Yes. So. All right. I'm gonna do. I feel like. I don't know. I feel like this is stealing one of yours because this feels like it should be the finale one. So I'll go with the other one, and then if you don't say this one, I'll go to it.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, the other one. So this one is probably the most recent one I can think of, which is Smile.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the Smile campaign?
Yeah.
I mean, so Smile I think is a surprisingly good Now there's two of them, and I think they're both really good.
Hmm.
Which is, it's kind of a weird concept. Seems gimmicky, and I'd say 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than that, like 9.5 times out of 10, these sorts of movies aren't very good overall. But like, I think the Smile movies are great, and the campaign for it was to put people throughout the country. And I think the most notable ones were at baseball games, or maybe it was a baseball game, and they're like with seats not in the bleachers, not 35 rows up, but like behind home plate, more or less.
Right.
And they're just doing the Smile, standing there, sitting there, which is so eerie, and because it's someone smiling, but it's a very creepy smile. So it's obviously going to get people. It's so out of the ordinary. It's obviously going to get people talking. Yeah. Super smart, I think, to get people interested in this movie, which then I think is even better because it's a very successful movie. Have you seen Smile?
I haven't seen the Smile movies yet, but I've heard generally good things about them.
Yeah, they're really good. They're they're very satisfying. They're scary. They're some they're atypical. Like I remember being very surprised with where it went, what happens to who, what happens to whom. Like and the second one kind of put it at a larger scale, and it had like a pop star as the main character. A lot of times, all right, like it's really hard for a movie, especially horror movies. Once you know the gist, like once you know the shtick, the thing, like how this thing manifests, it's really hard to then make a good movie. Part of what makes usually the original so good is figuring out, how does the monster, creature, curse, whatever, how does this work? How do you defeat it? And then when you do, not always defeat it, but at least figure it out, you get it, you see how it manifests itself. Like, all right, well, how many movies are you going to make of that? And the second one was, I think I actually gave him like the same score. Like really, like I think I give him 84s. I'd have to check.
Yeah.
Like really good, like 4.5 star movies. And the second one being like surprisingly good. And you already know what the Smile means, what that entails for the characters. So yeah, that I might be missing some parts of the campaign, but I know that was pretty iconic. And that was like, when did Smile come out? 2022, I think the first one.
Yeah.
About then, 2021, 2020. I think it's 2022 or 2023. I think 2022, and then 2 was 2024. But yeah, that was really cool. I remember being like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, and then a lot of times like it'll turn into a nothing burger, but here it really paid off. It was like, all right, it might be like, all right, look, I'm going to see your movie because you had this interesting campaign. It's probably not going to be very good, but it's like, no, this is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. That was cool.
Yeah. You should see them though. They're very good. You can stream them both, I believe, on one of the major streaming services. So
okay.
I think you should watch those.
All right. For my next one, it's a pretty cool, a pretty funny viral video for a movie that I did not care for. It's for the last Exorcism. It's a found footage Exorcist movie that was produced by Eli Roth. And I mean, it had a few cool parts, but I wasn't terribly impressed with it.
Which one is this? Let me see, because I've seen like every Exorcism movie. So
yeah, it's the one where like that preacher guy. It's a found footage movie. It's this preacher guy, and he's going down to the south, and there's a girl.
Yeah, yes, Patrick. Yeah, this one I kind of like because this is like Protestant exorcisms, where most are like Catholic. This is like Southern Baptist. I like the variety of exorcisms.
Yeah,
So yeah, this one is pretty good.
But I love the viral marketing campaign that they use for this one. So with it, and this is from Forbes, does a good job of explaining what it is. With its latest promotion for the new film, The Last Exorcism, Lionsgate has what studio marketing departments dream about: a viral video hit. The video shows young men who think they're watching a girl get ready to take off her top on chat roulette, but just before she can actually do it, she turns into a demon, scaring the horny boys who are hoping to see a little skin. So, like this is, if I remember correctly, it was her like
chat roulette.
What
a throwback.
And like they did it the way, like she's this hot young girl and she's taking her top off, she's unbuttoning, right, and then her hair covers her face, and then she looks up and then it's a demonic face, and then I think she jumps at the screen. A video of the best reactions went up on YouTube August 17th, and it has become a viral sensation, scoring almost 2 million hits so far. The video comes directly from Lionsgate. Marketing executives were decided chat roulette would be a good place to attract the young men. They hope we'll see the PG-13 horror movie when it opens this weekend. So they put together a pre-recorded video of the girl almost taking off her top and ran it on chat roulette. The video was up 2 hours a day, during which she was randomly matched up with other chat roulette users. If they weren't interested, they could pass her by, but those who stayed got a good shock. That's pretty, and like, you know, like this is so quaint compared to, you know, like what like the state of social media and YouTube and viral, you know, videos. But like it was pretty innovative. This is like 2011.
I just went on chat roulette, but I exited out because I got scared. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
it's probably just going to be a guy jerking off.
Yeah. But so that was my favorite, and it's funny.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It is again, it's kind of quaint seeing like what they consider to be viral back then, because like, oh, you know, it got 2 million views. And it's like, yeah, that's nothing compared to what's considered viral today.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, you know, again, this is 2011. So things have changed quite a bit, but yeah, I was going to ask,
when did that come out? 2011.
Yeah,
that's like peak chat roulette.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
And also, I mean, because it was a PG-13 horror movie, so it's like, you know, you got some teenage boys going, yeah, it's probably not that scary if it's PG-13, and then getting this type of shock.
PG-13.
Yeah. I remember watching, this is pretty intense. This is bordering on R. It was pretty intense for a PG-13.
That's not the one. Yeah, I remember that one. The ending kind of sucks, I think.
Yeah,
but no, there's the one where the girl from Quarantine and Dexter, who like, that's a different one. I think that's Emily Rose.
Right.
Where she's like she can like actually contort her body in certain ways. And they like use that for her, it's like possession.
Yeah, and also wasn't that like part legal, like court drama too? The Exorcism of Emily Rose or something.
Yes, yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
yeah, that guy who's like, I feel like he's always playing a priest in movies. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Wilkinson. Yeah, Wilkinson. I'm playing on his first name. I think that's him. But then I get that confused with the Conjuring movie that's like about a courtroom drama, which it's not, which really
the Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, The Devil Made Me Do It, where they use like demonic possession as a legal defense. And I was so pumped for that movie because it's like two of my favorite types of movies, exorcism movies and legal dramas, and it kind of was neither.
Yeah, and you were doubly let down.
Doubly let down.
Yeah.
All right then. All right, this will be my last one.
Okay.
Gotta go with the OG. I mean, maybe it's not the OG, but it's the OG as far as I'm concerned, and that's the Blair Witch Project.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Which the Blair Witch Project is so good.
Yeah.
Because I thought for like a very long time that it was real found footage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not saying. Yeah,
we were kids when that came out. We were like what, 9-10 years old or something, maybe a little younger even.
When did it come out? 99.
99, I think. Yeah.
I think it like takes place in 96.
Yeah.
And I think it's like found 99. Yeah. Iconic marketing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very scary. Just the stick configuration thing
Mm-hmm.
is so 90s horror to me. Like that symbol is just like the symbol of 90s horror.
Yep.
And the shot, of course, the famous like under nose shot that they parody in Scary Movie.
Oh yeah,
like the runny nose.
Yeah.
And they put up real posters. They put up posters about these people who I think were like New York actors or something.
Yeah.
But missing, wanted, which is kind of messed up. Like back then, people very well might have been like looking for these people just to be good Samaritans.
Yeah.
And it's kind of messed up. I don't even know if you can get away with that now.
Yeah.
I think there would be too many. It'd be too problematic. But
yeah,
I think it's great. I think if I remember correctly, the actors kind of like even laid low, right?
Yeah.
For a while to build the legend behind it. Of course, they interview people, and I can't remember if that was part of the marketing, but they interview people in that part of Maryland.
There was a fake documentary that was released, like an hour long, and I don't remember which channel it was. It might have been released on. I do remember it was released on a major channel. I don't remember which one, but it was like Sci-Fi Channel or Discovery or something. But like which gave it a little bit more verisimilitude, where it's like, and they also utilized the internet, I believe, because I think they did have like a website too.
Early on, yeah, they used the internet, which is like kind of notorious for that.
Yeah, and then IMDb was in its infancy, and so like when you went to the actors' profiles, it listed them as missing, like
yeah.
And so I don't remember any of that really as a kid. Like I was barely on the internet.
Any of that,
but like I remember, it's like that viral marketing campaign trickled down so much. So like, young adults who were probably getting onto the internet were first finding out about it. They were telling their younger siblings about it, or like your cousin
100%
told you. Like it was one of the, like I said, we were still like in elementary school when that movie came out. So it's like, it was just like hearing that on the playground, like, hey, the Blair Witch Project, and it's a real thing. Those people, they never found them, and blah blah blah. Yeah, like that was incredibly effective.
It's probably I think of these things sometimes where it's like, oh well, whether it's a tragedy or whatever the situation is, where it's like, well, I can't believe that happened, or well, that could be happening all the time and it doesn't, and this is just the time it does. Like that sort of thinking, where it's, I don't know if statistics is the right word, but like if you play like trading card games, like random number generation, like is it just random? Is it odds? Is it the perfect environment, right? And this to me feels like this happened because of the environment, and it's the perfect combination of early internet. Like this Blair Witch would not have happened if it came out in 1986.
Right.
Like I don't believe it would have been nearly as successful. It's because it came out in the late 90s, where it's you have the internet, which is this incredible technology, but it's nothing like the internet today.
Right.
Like this would have gotten debunked in 30 seconds.
Exactly.
If it came out today.
Yeah.
So it's like rudimentary enough where it can still retain that air of mystique, but it's technologically advanced enough where it could spread the way it does. And
absolutely. And I also think that culturally we were kind of primed for that in the 90s, because you had like, you had the X-Files. So it's like you had a lot of online nerds kind of like, oh, is this real? Is it based on a true story? Right. You had America's Most Wanted, where it's like, have you seen this person? Call in now to, help the FBI find. So like, it was just this weird combination of kind of blurring the lines between pop culture and audience engagement. And then you had the internet and like chat rooms. And so it seemed like it was like it was perfect timing for that type of campaign. And I want to read just a little bit more about this too. So they took it a step further.
Mhm.
So they also had a website in 1999. The internet was not even a sliver of what it is today. It was a relatively new concept, and the filmmakers used that to their advantage. They created a website that looked like the students had made it themselves as part of the project and contained information about the Blair Witch. It never pushed you to go to see the film, and it never revealed itself as a marketing campaign. It simply relied on intrigue and mystique to draw in viewers. So, like, at no point did they like, hey, by the way, this is a joke. We're just, this is all just kind of a fun little gimmick. It's like, no, you thought it was real. Like,
there's no winking at the there's no winking. There's nothing there that's like click here now to reserve your seat at the cinema or whatever. It was brilliant. It was so cool. And like I said, so like I was saying, it melded all of those factors together, but the most important factor is honestly it was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like I remember I didn't see any of, like, when I was 9 when this came out, or even into high school in the 2000s, in the mid 2000s, I didn't see any of this stuff. Like, I didn't see the posters. I never went on the website. But I think even then, I remember, like, I don't think it had been debunked to me at that time. It was definitely debunked. I still remember being like, oh, wait, isn't that the, like, found footage movie? Was that, like, is that real? Like, is it? And that's how effective it was. Which was just so impressive. And it's a shame. Like, it's one of those things, like, that's just lost. Like that. I mean, I don't think that can happen again, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching some, and this really turned me out. Like, I really hate documentaries for the most part. I think a lot of them are just really crappy, and this one kind of was one of those tipping point ones where, like, do you remember when that girl was found it was actually in LA, in that water, like a water container on top of a crappy old hotel.
Yeah, the Hotel Cecil or whatever. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then, I think it's right near that bookstore and where whatever that bookstore is called.
The West Bookstore in downtown LA.
Yeah. And the girl, dies up there. And there's like 4-part documentary series, and it's all these sleuths trying to figure it out and all this stuff. And it was just, she just had mental illness and drowned.
Yeah. I remember I was staying with my parents over the holidays when we were watching, because, like, oh, this is super cool. Like, this sounds like super, but my parents love true crime. I love LA and sort of like the dark underbelly. So that was perfect for us. And it was a 4-part documentary on Netflix. We watched half of it, and we're like, this is stupid. This is just so because it was just like, and then I just remember being like annoyed by how sappy it was, because it was like a bunch of like YouTubers going like, we started to like really feel like a connection to the victim and this and that. It's like, you guys are not detectives. Shut up. Like,
and I feel like I remember this guy like devoted his life to figuring this out. I think he like quit his job and was like, it's like the girl, and they show footage of her and she looks like she's talking to someone. It's like, no, she's just like, it's one of those things where if the documentarians told you in the first 10 minutes that she had mental illness and was on medication and didn't take her medication, you would feel differently. It's like, that's why, like, documentaries are not facts. They're not presenting the facts about interesting things. They're very often the same as regular movies with the veneer of that, which to me is wrong. It's the same thing with Making a Murderer. If in Making a Murderer, which set the country on fire in terms of people like petitioning Obama to what's the term? Give clemency. It's not the right term, but it's the term I'm thinking of. To this guy and this prosecutor who, he was getting death threats, and I don't, did he kill himself, or like, if they had told you in the first 10 minutes that the guy on trial had called the victim like 100 times, you would feel a little differently about his innocence.
Right, exactly.
And they don't tell you that ever, because they want you to do what we all did, and that's manipulative. and it's one thing if that's a story, like that's a movie, that's a feature film, not when it's a documentary. So I say all to say that most documentaries I dislike, and I watch very few of them now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I brought that up because you would have people with this advanced technology debunking the Blair Witch like very quickly. It'd be like, oh, there's the girl who is missing, the main one with the black hair, like she's in line over there at a Starbucks, and now she's all over the internet, and it's like, oh, there goes that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's a guy on YouTube who has developed a reputation for like being able to pinpoint any location. Like if you give him a photograph of like a parking lot, he'll within a few minutes be able to, okay, that is in Munich. It's in this shopping center. Here are the coordinates. He'll be able to tell.
Possible?
He I don't know if he's just done this so often, or he'll be like, okay, based on the type of trees and you know, it could be a gimmick, it could be, you know, fabricated, but it's like somebody will just, hey, here's a picture of a street, and then, you know, like the only clue was like maybe like a street name, but you know, like that could be any place on the planet. But like he'll be able to tell, like, okay, based on that type of architecture, it's, you know, in the Western Hemisphere, which means that it's over here, which means like, and based on where the sun is, it looks like it's midday. So like he'll be able to. So I mean, like the fact that you could just but you know, he's not the only person to do that. Like there have been other, you know, like you remember the Shia LaBeouf art thing. He will not divide us during Trump's first administration. He will not divide us. He had like a live 24-hour. Like continuous live stream of places around the world, and then like people managed to track down those locations and then like say Heil Hitler or something like that. do you remember that?
Like vaguely. I didn't know that. That's not when he's like screaming into the camera, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
So right after Trump won the first time, he Shia LaBeouf, he created this art piece where he would have cameras, like 24-hour cameras set up in a few different cities around the world,
right?
And he would just encourage people from around the world to step in front of the camera and just say, "He will not divide us. He will not divide us," over and over and over again, right? But he didn't say where the cameras were, right? But people managed to track down like where the cameras were, and then they would say like Heil Hitler or something, like, and they weren't even like white supremacists. They would do it just to fuck with them, right?
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just like it only took a small amount of time to be able to track down where those cameras were around the world, and so if we can do that,
we're gonna find some kids in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know, the Blair Witch Project is definitely unique. Not only is it like one of the handful of found footage horror films that I actually genuinely love, and I think it's genuinely creepy. The marketing campaign was just like, you know, perfect timing, innovative use of emerging technology, and kind of tapping into the sort of paranoid nature of 90s culture and like, you know, sort of like online geek culture. That's kind of, I can't think of a better marketing campaign for a horror film.
Yeah, I think it's still, I watched it maybe 5-6 years ago, and I think it still totally holds up.
Yeah.
It's really good, and it's definitely scary. And it's just like, and then when you know like what the actors went through, like I think people would like, I don't know who exactly, but like they would take away certain food, like they would mess with them.
Yeah.
I don't know who exactly messing with who, but like they would, where you're getting like more real reactions, like they were sniping at each other, and it's like it's very interesting. And
the director purposefully like gave them incorrect directions, so they would just end up going in a circle, and then to be like, oh my god, like what the hell happened? But they didn't know. They thought that they were going in the right direction. But yeah, the director was definitely fucking with them. Those tense reactions.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Do you have any others?
There are a couple of I think honorable mentions here. Paranormal Activity.
Okay.
So that one came out in 2006 or 2007. So that movie cost $11,000 and ended up making hundreds of millions. So it might still hold the record for being the most profitable film ever. So they had this campaign. So during the campaign for Paranormal Activity, the power of movie distribution was put in the hands of the audience by allowing them to vote for the film to come to their city through a Demand It campaign on the studio's website. The total demand for the film was tracked on the website, and if it reached a certain level, the film would open nationwide. This approach brought a touch of old school groundswell marketing to an age of top-down media saturation and was a pure publicity stunt that drummed up excitement for the movie. It's also pretty smart of the studio to do that, where it's like, should we give this movie a wide release or should we give it like a limited release? Oh, well, 1 million people in California want to see it. So, all right, yeah, let's open it up there. 2 million people in the Northeast, they want to see this movie. Okay, cool. Well, we'll do a release there. But yeah, they actually have like a counter, so you can see like how many people in your area.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah.
I saw one of them in theaters with friends in college, and it was a very fun experience. It was not because I wasn't in college then, 2007, 2008, but I think in 2011, 12, I saw one in theaters, and it was very good.
Yeah,
very fun. I don't remember if it was that good, but it was a fun experience.
It was definitely fun, and it was. I didn't like the ending. I thought it was kind of lame, but I thought the overall movie was pretty fun though. And let's see. Indiegogo. Oh, Terrifier 2. Okay. I still haven't seen any of these movies.
Neither have I. I don't think I'm going to.
I might want to. I mean, it's one of those things where everybody I know who's seen them loves them. So it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, I'll watch it.
Apparently one of the scenes in that movie is like considered one of the most violent, gross. Like I don't know, not for me. I can deal with a lot of gore and violence, but
I will say this though, I've seen like some gore compilations from those, and the gore is very cheesy. It's definitely like you can tell like it's kind of meant to be. It's meant to have kind of like a low budget 80s look. Like I think a movie that I don't know if I would ever see voluntarily would be like a Serbian film where it's meant to look really graphically.
Wait, is that what it's called? A Serbian film?
A Serbian film, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
His movie came out. It's from Serbia, I guess. It's like a torture porn film, but I mean, it's like it's rated NC-17. It's not even an R. Like it's just like so.
I don't like that shit.
Yeah. Whereas this one at least seems cheesy. Like it's meant to be kind of over the top.
Yeah.
But they utilized Indiegogo. Its box office success of $10 million on a budget of only $250,000 was a result of effective viral marketing and resurgence of event cinema. The film was strategically promoted with influencer screenings and Regal Unlimited members to generate excitement before its theatrical release. The Halloween movie season brought with it a surprise box office hit. Terrifier 2, writer-director Damien Leone's gory sequel to his 2016 hit, Terrifier. Despite being a micro-budget indie with a $250,000 price tag and no mainstream marketing, the film managed to shock the industry when it grossed just over $1 million at the domestic box office. So that was utilizing crowdfunding. It's getting harder and harder, I think, to utilize the internet and social media in this way. But I am curious though to see like what other gimmicks horror filmmakers use.
That's why I like Smile. Like I thought that was interesting. I mean, that was contemporary-ish, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
The technology really hasn't changed. I think the next wave, like everything else, is going to be AI, and there will be a time where like people aren't used to it. It'll seem fresh. Our, senses won't be used to it. And I think there probably will be some crazy things, maybe some controversial things. I think obviously we have, we have a culture that will reward in some ways pushing the limits because of virality. But, I think it's going to cause some problems too in plenty of ways, but I think that's like the next frontier with this stuff is AI, like celebrities maybe getting killed or whatever, like whatever it is. I don't know exactly, but I just think that's it. Like that's the next step.
Yeah. I think that's it for me.
All right then.
What was the sign off that we were going to use?
See in the basement.
See in the basement.
See you in the basement.
See you in the basement.
See you in the